Hey guys, welcome to Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 1956 Western drama Giant. This is the last of the three leading role films of James Dean. He unfortunately passed tragically in a car accident, I believe during the making or post-production of this film, and so had to have some of his lines overdubbed. The movie stars James Dean, Rock Hudson, and Elizabeth Taylor. It's based on the 1952 novel by Edna Ferber. I'm excited to see this. This is a very, very long movie, but I enjoy Westerns. I enjoy James Dean, and I like Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah, James Dean is in the John Cazale camp of dude's good. I love James Dean from East of Eden, personally. I thought that his performance in that was like wild and outrageous and strange and deeply, deeply personal in a way that was incredibly affecting, especially when in contrast to the actor who played his father. I don't remember. But anyways, I'm excited to watch A Little Giant, and yeah, why don't we do so? Ooh, completely out in the open. Oh my god, it's so expansive. Oh yeah, this is George Stevens' movie. I forgot to say that. Ooh, Elizabeth Taylor got first billing. Dennis Hopper's in this. Okay. William C. Malloy. And Stevens is also the director of Shane and Diary of Anne Frank.
There he is. There's the stallion. That's Warwind.
Beautiful.
Leslie's my daughter. She's riding him.
Yes, she is.
Doctor, that sure is a beautiful animal.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Texas. Benedict's the name.
Oh,
Listen to Rock Hudson's voice, Jesus.
I came here to buy your stallion Warwinds. That is, if your daughter don't mind too much.
and how large are your ranches?
It's one of the biggest.
How big is it?
How big is that?
It's big, all right.
It's big, all right.
But come now, Mr. Benedict, can't you be more specific? Well, what's the size of your place? 50,000, 20,000 acres?
100,000.
Around 500,000.
Oh,
595,000
boy.
acres.
That's a big one. Hudson's a tall guy, huh? Or Elizabeth Taylor's a shawty.
I like your country.
I like your country.
Your country?
Reata.
Call it.
Call it.
Maybe you could come out and see it.
Maybe.
You get a chance.
We could do some smooching.
Oh.
Just doing a little light reading on the history of Texas.
Are you in love with him? Yes, I think so.
How? Look at these wide American sports coats.
Leslie.
Good morning.
Roomy in the shoulders.
And I read about Texas until 5 this morning.
Oh, Leslie, let the poor boy eat his breakfast in peace.
We really stole Texas, didn't we, Mr. Benedict? I mean, away from Mexico.
We've got a woke Elizabeth Taylor.
You're catching me a bit early to start joking, Miss Leslie.
But I'm not joking, Jordan. Why, it's all right there in the history books, isn't it? It's so fascinating.
But, Leslie, you mustn't talk that way to a Texan. They feel very strongly about their state.
They feel very strongly.
You would think somebody had spoiled you terribly. Your wife or somebody.
I don't have a wife.
I haven't any wife.
Just a strange way to
I live with
flirt.
my sister.
Strange.
Why don't you show him the stables?
We have just quarreled in a polite way about Texas.
In a polite
So there's no
way.
use you trying to palm me off.
Goodbye, everybody.
When you drink your coffee like you're in love, but you hate them. Dude, they just like flat out fell in love immediately. But Elizabeth Taylor played it smart as heck. She's like a Beatrice, despite being named Benedict.
I don't know how other brides feel on their honeymoon, but I'm having a lovely time.
You can't say it's been dull, honey.
They totally did it. Windy out today.
Angel, ¿Dónde estuviste todo este tiempo? These people never learn.
Bienvenida a los novios.
Oh.
That means welcome the newlyweds.
And what is your name?
Ángel. Ángel Obregón.
Gracias, Ángel Obregón.
Come on, Leslie. It's 50 miles to coffee.
The soundtrack is swinging. For the romance scenes, not particularly my thing, but you know, for these huge Western expansive scenes, it just strikes an absolute perfect tone. They're just shooting the whole Earth. I'm hoping to get very approximate Days of Heaven vibes watching this. Days of Heaven is one of my sincerely favorite films, certainly favorite American films.
Gracias. Gracias, señora.
Leslie. Don't.
He's so particular about her not talking to the Mexican.
Behave.
Down here. Making a fuss over those people. You're a Texan now.
You don't have to respect Mexicans. Oh, James. Oh, James. This is how you have to introduce James Dean with an ass shot. It's just vital, I guess. Speaks to the longevity of his appeal. Interestingly voyeuristic shot. I do actually like it. It already creates some tension in what is supposed to be an auspicious occasion.
I thought somebody was hurt, maybe.
Didn't know you was there.
Like in this, like, you know, fun newlywed scene, there's actually like a lot of tension built around like manners, a lot of you know, cross communication as to customs.
Well, you tell me who's the boss around here, and I'll be glad to do anything they want me to do, Bick.
Jett, this is Bick's new wife. Leslie, this boy here is Jett Rink.
Hello?
Works for us.
A lot of cool shot compositions, I gotta say. A lot of like framing from like behind
Get that truck fixed.
behind thresholds and borders and barriers and stuff. Frames within frames.
Nobody, no matter what they might be thinking.
This is our Judge White's night.
I do, Miss Benedict. We sure are proud to have you here. She sure is pretty.
I think so.
This is Miss Word 10.
Howdy, Les. I'm mighty happy to meet you.
Fast act. I'd like to meet my wife.
Jordan told me so
Happy.
much about you.
That's me.
I'm mighty glad to know you, Miss Jordan Benedict.
That's very
I'm
much
awfully
me.
glad we're neighbors. Real close friends.
Look at how much sadness is conveyed in just this small, simple performance. Super relate to that. James Dean's an ass man.
I propose a toast to a daughter of old Maryland that's blooming into a citizen of the Lone Star State.
Wow, her eyes are luminous in that shot.
I guess that leaves only me.
Oh, Luz.
Everybody in Novus County knows you'd rather herd cattle than make love.
Luz is a, you know, a lesbian icon. I love how slow and ambling James Dean is in this performance. Jett seems very deliberate.
Eat it while it's hot.
That's what I was afraid of.
Intense close-up on Luz. Super Phantom Thready. I hope they resolve their issues with just like some light BDSM play.
I want everybody to know, no matter what happens
Big
around
ass
this
house.
ranch in the future, I am never going to faint again.
Wonderful sound design.
Honey, you go along with Jett and get out all this heat.
Oh, but honey, I'm fine.
There's no use overdoing it. You go along with Jett.
Me, I'm gonna get out of here one of these days.
This is my husband's land.
Boom.
This is his home.
Cancelled. James Dean's driving acting is abysmal.
Who gets hold of as much land else they took it off somebody else?
Drink. It's a very full swig she took. They're just thirsting it up right now. On the one hand, you kind of like the
Keep it on, boy. I'll ride him.
the narrative shorthand of like establishing these like
Riding what I want to around here for about 30 years.
these desires and stuff.
If he bucks me down, he
But
won't
you
be
know,
the
at
first
the
one that's done
expense
it.
of establishing like the actual like psychology or depth or
Came out here to show me how to
reason
run things
behind
too.
it.
Let's go.
Luz, this is a bad idea, Luz. Luz, don't be kicking those spurs in so harsh.
I got a few friends. Madame likes me. Well, no, but they don't like me quite enough to kind of divvy up what they got way too
Visually,
much
I
of.
love the employment of the actual like natural wind and stuff in these scenes.
I like you.
Orally, it's like it's making it so hard to pick things up.
I like you too.
Jett.
I guess you're about the best looking gal we've seen around here in a long time.
Maybe ever.
Why, thank you, Jett. And I'm going to tell my husband I've met with your approval.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I have to wonder, you know, absolutely no way to evaluate post hoc, but like, you know, is James Dean on the spectrum? I feel like he infuses a lot of his characters with that sort of thing.
Them's your neighbors live there.
Who?
Them kids there. Them's your ranch people. Sure in good shape, ain't they? Whole bunch of them sick.
What's the matter with him?
I don't know. Sick.
Wait.
You are the boss. You know it too, don't you?
Have you seen a doctor? Doctor, he is too far to come.
Yo, is Luz dead? A lot of things happening at once. I kind of wouldn't expect it. But the development with Luz and also with the sick Mexicans, it'll be interesting to see where Bick's priorities lie as a result.
Where in the world have you been? Good Lord, I've been looking for you too.
What happened to her?
I like, it's a weird thing to say, but I like watching Elizabeth
What
Taylor breathing through her shirt. Not in like a sexy way, but that's just like a cool seeing that movement of the fabric.
She got throat or something.
She breathes really slowly. And I like how dark they choose to light all of this.
Write anything. Now this happens.
James Dean's like, I know exactly where to put my head to find the light for my eye. Good job, James. Beautifully, beautifully dark. And I just like the soft glow of the reflection off of the painting. A lot of textures being played out in this scene to kind of like vary up the darkness, like the reflections off of the leather and off of the matte of the painting. And just keeping the camera just so remote, so distant from everything. Really, really well constructed scene.
This is a great misfortune. But no one's to blame.
Wonderful, wonderful framing, shot composition in this movie. Keeping like 3 different pillars of information communicated in one shot.
Mrs. Benedict, this is Dr. Bornholm. How's your job?
This is a cool way to like bring the 2 stories together though, and like create like a tension between Leslie and Jordan, because Leslie wants the Mexicans child to be cared for, and Jordan, in his grief, will consider it a slight.
Will you stop by, please?
Mrs. Obregon?
Jordan, this is a good thing. Don't resent your wife for this.
Myself, Doctor.
Oh no. You need to be there for your husband, though.
You can't go there. He's our doctor.
You mean the Benedicts only?
No, the whites.
I mean, all of us.
I didn't know this movie would be about this stuff.
And those people.
They're actually building like a lot of like resentment and complexity into Jordan's character that I wasn't expecting. This isn't the kind of thing I would expect of the Rock Hudson character, but he's carrying it off beautifully. Kind of like the shining white knight who, like, when things don't turn his way, kind of devolves into an abyss of loathing and recrimination. I'm advancing looking very far into where this movie will develop, but the seeds are being planted early on. I'm loving kind of like the very meandering, slow pace of this movie. Like usually for these things, like you'd want there to be kind of an escalation of like plot and stuff, and there has been that. But like 15 minutes into a movie, you feel like you should be like halfway through Act 2 right now. But I don't know. This movie is taking its time, developing its characters, developing the core dynamics, whether social or interpersonal, that are happening. And it's being very deliberate with its pacing, but you don't really feel it. I don't feel like an absence or a want of the plot to advance too quickly, because the characters are interesting enough. And honestly, like the world building, I guess, or the historical context is complicated enough that there's a lot to learn that you don't feel like requires that necessitates a plot advancing. I really like the pace of this film so far. It's not at all like, it doesn't wear the weight of its runtime as of yet.
I think you'll agree with me that your sister was a very generous woman. She wanted that boy to have something worthwhile.
I understand the context now. Luz left Jett a little small space of land in her will, and Jordan and his crew, in their infinite wisdom, have decided they want to buy it back.
Nobody's firing you, Jett.
Boy, how did nobody's firing me?
Yeah, Rock Hudson's just tall as shit.
Quit.
Hi, Jett. Nice to see you.
A lot of really interesting compositions, very painterly.
Jett, I don't guess I have to tell you. Luz is a woman with strong sentimental feeling. She wanted to give you something. I know she did. But that little piece is worth the most. How much, Bill?
Oh, at the most, $500 or $600, Bick.
Yeah.
I hope this turns into an oil story. He's not going to offer him enough. He's going to offer him like 500 or 600.
You get something really worthwhile.
Because he's proud, because he's arrogant.
Prepared to place in your hands, in cash, the sum of $1,200.
No, I guess he's not too concerned. This is going to be a Jett issue.
Definitely.
I love how dark the interiors are on these scenes. It's a nice contrast with how open and exposed the outdoor sequences are. Like this is like one of the most brightly lit scenes that are happening inside so far, and it's still like awash with shadows.
What are you aiming to do with all of it?
And I guess it's just like very nice art direction. A lot of like rich, somber browns.
I don't know what to say. She was a fine lady.
Yes, she was a fine lady. Hallelujah.
Don't you know that I appreciate her generosity? And yours
Oh,
too,
James.
Bick. I don't know, but just might not be a pretty good idea to gamble along with old Madama. Just gamble along. Just keep what she gives me. I'm sentimental too, Bick.
I love this. Feels so like intimidating. Just having him alone in this room with this bunch of guys, even if they're not threatening him.
I know that land ain't worth much.
The threat is like
Someday,
inherent.
I just might up and call her little Reata.
Reata is, I guess, a term for like a ranch or something. It means like lariat. It's weird how quickly they've given us space to like really identify with Jett. He's like really not done much to endear the audience to him, but just this small space of sentimentality he has towards his relationship with Luz, like even in the scene of him trying to like court or romance Leslie and the subsequently taking her to the Mexican village, like nothing. There's nothing in that that necessarily makes us like love his character or kind of like really identify his perspective very well. But just this small refusal, this desire of his to keep the land that was bequeathed to him, has suddenly like opened up his character really fascinatingly. There's just such, I don't know, it's maybe it's the power of imagery, maybe it's the power of James Dean, but what really speaks to me is like, in some ways, the story that Edna Ferber is telling, that there can be these really kind of small adjustments, shifts in our perspective on a character that can suddenly just light them up and really open us to their perspective and their beauty and their humanity. It's a breathtaking display of humanity in just like a really small moment for this character. Because we can all relate to that sense of freedom, of independence, of friendship, of obligation.
And when you see it all, and have lived with it as I have, why, Leslie, 25 years from now, you'll feel about Texas just like I do.
25 years?
I love this sense of scope, this discussion of like time and the enormity of Texas and how these places like last forever.
You'll see wonderful things in Texas when you're 50. Because then,
Hey, Wally.
you'll have been part of it all.
Yeah.
Come on over. We need you in the power.
It really gives a really beautiful sense of scope to like the issues that they're facing presently, and what aspects of it will perhaps fade with time, what aspects of it will perhaps develop and grow with time.
We're just talking business.
It's all just like small in the scope of
Oh, well, please don't mind me.
eternity.
Leslie, we're talking about politics.
I live next door to politics. Brought up with
This is men's stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
men's stuff. Lord have mercy.
You don't feel well, Leslie.
I feel just great. My adrenaline glands are pumping beautifully.
Oh boy, oh
You gentlemen
boy.
date. What is so masculine about a conversation that a woman can't enter into?
Leslie, you're tired.
That's right. Send the children on up to bed
Oh.
so the grown-ups can talk.
God. Yeah, they are not gonna fuck tonight. It's a very, very surprising role for Rock Hudson, I gotta say. And I think he's handling it. I like really believe that this asshole views a wife as somebody to control. Like noble when things are perfect and savage when they're not. He's got this great like golden boy gone wrong thing going.
You certainly distinguish yourself this evening. Here, they heard you already, every word you said out there.
But in principle, I was absolutely right.
You come down here and you try to tell us how to run things. And I'm asking you right now, when are you going to settle down and behave like everybody else?
Never.
Who in Hohenzollern do you think you are, anyhow? Joan of Arc
That
or
was a
something?
cool shot. She just like leaves the out of frame and they just hold on it for a little bit.
Very first moment, I couldn't have been more unpleasant. Besides, you love me very much.
My boy, you're gonna have to decide between your love and your need for control.
Fine mind of yours gets pretty repulsive at times.
It's not what you told me on the train.
Now you're gonna throw that up to me.
You know, you can be pretty wonderful at times.
You know, I said they were gonna tonight, and perhaps it's just not a relationship dynamic I understand, because Benedict and Beatrice are gonna get it on.
Why don't you kick off your spurs?
They are insistent that this is a couple that quite beautiful. Arresting. Oh.
Oh, what a glorious, gorgeous brandy.
That lady just had an orgasm. It's very sad. Like, genuinely, these two, like, really, I'm surprised to see it, but they genuinely love each other. Like, their problem is not an issue of love. Their problem is
Shouldn't you be putting on a little weight?
not being able to manage communication or manage compromise.
It's natural, I think, darling, for him to be gaining faster.
Oh, it's
Let me see.
twins.
Hello, Angel. How are you?
Mrs. Benedict, what is it I can do?
Mr. Gomez, I'm going to leave Dr. Guerra here with you. This place is a scandal. Thank you, Dr. Guerra. I'll get in touch with you later.
Gracias a usted, señora.
A woman driving? Well, I never.
Truthfully, I wouldn't have expected this sort of talent to be one of your virtues. It really is nice, Jett.
Someday, I want to have a place no one will be ashamed of.
Ryan Gosling could never. Look at this. He built his entire ranch on his own.
I cut them out of a newspaper. I thought maybe they kind of dress the place up a little bit.
Is it weird to look at your face and know that a man's been masturbating into it for the past, like, 3 years? Oh, that's sweet.
You want to come on in here and sit down?
He's a rough with a heart of gold.
Having kids seems to agree with you, you know it? You're looking prettier than ever.
There's like a reading of this that I wonder is like, were Luz and Jett, like, their friendship built on like them both being queer? They're both like kind of like misunderstood outsiders to a certain degree. I mean, I know like Luz isn't like actually an outsider, but she's like kind of like coded herself away by being like adversarial and dictatorial, and similarly Jett has like cordoned himself off from normal relationships or society. And in fact, outside of it, he flourishes.
Very excellent cup of tea.
And the two of them identify with each other.
Yeah. Do you like one lump or do you like two?
I think I'll take mine straight.
That's good enough for me.
Little pussy.
Boy.
I've like, apart from Ryan Gosling, I've just never seen a star who like eschews keeping his face like on camera
Other people.
as much as James Dean. James Dean will always try and take an angle where you're not seeing what he's thinking or feeling, and it creates like a
Bunch of wet bags.
kind of like
Maybe you don't go get me mixed up with none of them.
a curious mystery. You're always trying to like, you'll always orient yourself in your seat, trying to find where his face is.
Wet back.
Very like Jordan.
Interesting observations on how wealthy and poor white people may have been institutionalized to hold hold racist beliefs against Mexicans, despite the fact that one of them may be in similar socioeconomic conditions.
Thanks for the tea party, Jett. And don't be such a stranger. You stop by and pay us a visit.
I'm gonna sniff this footprint forever. Oil, oil, oil! Oil? Oil, exclamation point. It's oil, boy! Selling the fantasy of how the poor white man might someday ascend.
Y'all are gathered here on this 4th anniversary of my son's birth.
And your daughters.
This young fella right over here.
This movie is majestic. I love the scope it chooses to cover. It's about, like, you know, generational inheritance, racism, gender roles. There's just such a wealth of topics this movie is covering. Oh no, he can't be seen to cry because he's the next head of the household. I gotta really credit to Edna Ferber. This story is really, really, really cool.
Take it easy, son.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Well, that was you. This is another person in town.
He's a Benedict. He's gonna stay on that saddle if I have to tie a hitch on him to keep him there. Take him away.
It's like watching The Godfather. It's like...
No.
Let him ride, Polo.
This is like the relationship that Michael has with his son. I mean, I guess that's like Godfather Part 2 and 3. I like how, like, you know, people are like these ideas of like toxic masculinity and stuff are like a byproduct of like woke culture and liberalism and stuff. These ideas were being explored in like 1956 in a Western. I feel you, Jordan, because I am you. You're unhappy because you have expectations, and not having those expectations met and feeling it's out of your control is driving you crazy. I completely get that. I mean, me too.
Jordan, I think it would be a good idea. I took the children home for a visit.
Home?
Your home's here. He's so proud.
Homesick. I mean, if that's the way you want it.
It's really...
That's not the way I want it, Jordan.
All right, then.
Quite relatable, being a man. I'm sure being a human in general, but being a man, it does feel like
Better for us if we're apart for a while.
you're trapped in this cage of, like,
Better for us.
your expectations. And you can't break loose of it, even if it's making you terribly, terribly unhappy. I just keep remembering how much they genuinely love each other, and there's just this cage that Jordan is locked in that is preventing him from, like, enjoying the fruits of his love and enjoying the fruits of his love for his children. It's it's a really painful story, and yet and so relatable. Like, if you're not careful, you will be this man with all of the money in the world and all of the power, waving goodbye to his family and standing alone on your ranch. Oh my god. Oh my god, this movie is so good. I'm, like, genuinely touched. It's a big-ass turkey. Big-ass turkey. And I love how, in contrast, so many good things going on. I love how, in contrast to the Benedict household, they still have this small family table where they're all grouped together. It's just such a good contrast. Dude, you got to apologize to your wife right now. My dude, you don't want to end up like this. Oh no. Dude, this was made in the 50s.
Why, Mr. Benedict, this is a good surprise.
It is. Dude, Rock Hudson's so tall. My number one takeaway from this movie. And I'm just shocked by the, like, thoughtfulness and intelligence and wonderful world construction of Edna Ferber as the writer of the original novel. This is such a dense piece. Go to her, my dude. Go to her. And wonderful, wonderful shot composition again. Oh my god, George Stevens. I'm, like, genuinely surprised. A lot of good things going on in this movie.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together here.
Oh my god, and framing again. Him trapped behind a threshold. Him watching them from behind the door.
In holy matrimony.
Oh my god, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, you weird creeper, man. Just be open with your wife. Just apologize. Just make compromises, my man. You are married to Elizabeth Taylor. You're living on a wealthy ranch with like 590,000 acres. This is not a time when you should be unhappy.
Lacey, wilt thou have this man to thy wedded husband, to live together after God's ordinance, so long as ye both shall live?
There's so much going on in this movie. It's really good.
That he who gives it and she
Don't turn around. He has to come to you. Don't turn around.
and continue in thy favor unto their life's.
He has to come to you.
Amen.
Do not turn around. Please, you have to go to her. You really like feel and understand all of the relationships that are happening in this movie. They all feel so real. The families feel like families. The couples feel like couples.
Jordan, I'm no different than I was when I left.
You've got to accept that.
We Texans like a little vinegar in our greens, honey. Gives them flavor.
That's not okay. I guess we can accept that for now. You felt that. You felt that in your adrenal glands. Oh my god. This movie is amazing. Oh, Jett. Defiantly lower class. Oh, this fucking Rube is gonna punch the lights out of this fucking sharecropper.
Hello, Jett. What do you want?
My welcome in, babe. Y'all thought old Spindle Topham Burnett was all it was, didn't you?
There you go.
Well, I'm here to tell you it ain't, boy. It's here. I'm rich, bitch.
I'm rich, bitch.
I'm a rich boy.
Oh my god. James Dean, so beautiful.
You and all the rest of you
so
stinking sons of
captivating.
Benedicts. Oh, my, you sure do look pretty, Miss Leslie. You always did look pretty. Wait a minute. Tess is an old cook.
He's so dangerous. He's such a bad boy. I like almost never get the bad boy gimmick, except for f***ing James Dean. Just lights up the screen.
Bick, you should have shot that fella a long time ago. Now he's too rich to kill.
Is this a perfect movie? Is this a perfect movie? I'm confused. Why did nobody tell me that Giant's a perfect movie? We obviously don't love oil in IRL. And it's like the Old West being kind of like trampled over by the new. It's a very, very interesting story that's going on. Oh my god. It's fucking... Holy fuck. What the hell? What the fuck? It's Dennis Hopper.
You want to be a doctor?
This is like insane fucking bizarro world where wanting to become a doctor is frowned upon in this household.
I'll take all the blame. You just sort of soften the blow a little bit.
I'll talk to him myself.
I love the overlapping storylines that are constructed in this. It's just like so beautiful. Like all the way back from like when the baby was sick in the Mexican village and Luz was injured in the horsing accident. There's just like
I've been thinking
these beautiful constructions of stories. I love that she's reading a book and he's reading a comic. This movie is so intricate and interwoven and dynamic. It's like Edna Ferber is just like Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And this is like 100 Years of Solitude.
Not so sold on that girls' school in Switzerland you're stuck on. Don't get your feathers up.
Jordy's a mama's boy, and
Wants to be a rancher like her old man.
Judy is a daddy's girl. I love all of these.
Just got a little schoolgirl crush on that hulking Barbie.
All this great stuff going on.
Got her mind set on it. I, for one, am willing to sacrifice.
This is an area where you'll have to compromise, Elizabeth. If you want your son to go to Harvard, you should let your daughter go to Texas Tech, Texas AMU.
He wants what?
He wants to be a doctor. He's absolutely set on it.
Over my dead body. You know what he's supposed to do.
He'd die for you, but he's not going to live his life for you. And he's right.
He'll do as we've all done.
Oh, man.
The battleship Arizona and 5 other warships were lost in the Japanese air raid on the naval base at Pearl Harbor a fortnight ago.
I don't like where this is going. Dude, they're gonna fuck. This movie's just like people banging left and right. That's a wonderful, wonderful musical transition. On Christmas Day?
Here they are.
When did you two sneak in?
The honeymooners.
Okay, so they're married. On Hell? So many threads. It's like Game of Thrones. Back when Game of Thrones was good.
Came for you to see Angel. He's the first soldier from Reata.
Isn't he a fine-looking soldier?
Isn't he Salmoneo?
Merry Christmas, Angel.
Thank you.
Today, the wish of all of us is that the war ends quickly, and that you, Angel, return safely to Reata. And to all of those who love you very much.
I'll drink a toast to that.
Well, I don't know. I don't like where that's going. Oh, poor Jordy. It's too big for him. Symbolism.
Hello, Dr. Guerra.
Hello, Dr. Benedict.
I'm just a little premature, Dr. Guerra.
No, I know. It takes time. Oh, Jordan, this is Juana.
Hello.
She's been training out at the hospital.
Oh. Must be that darn north wind static or something.
Interracial relationships in my 1956 movie?
Nice meeting you. Bye, Doctor.
Adios.
This movie like comes so close to like identifying like a utopian future, and I'm like so afraid that it'll all fall apart. Genuinely, this was a vision of a perfect America that they were conceiving of in the 50s, and it's just absolutely shocking how far we've fallen from this. Give the
You finish college, a good time for you to take your place here and produce beef for the war.
Give the company over to Angel.
They need doctors, Dad. They need doctors in war, too.
Please.
Or being bullheaded.
He's your son.
I never would be any good running this place.
He's being so reasonable. He's your son.
Jordy, you're the one. You're the one with the responsibility to react.
It's just like seeing your dad on screen.
That yourself?
I'm like genuinely shocked how well Hudson is handling this role. I think this is an incredibly like deep and interesting performance.
Job's yours. It'll be waiting for you.
Gosh, no, sir. We just want a little place.
Just a little place.
Give it to Angel.
You see, sir, well, big stuff is old stuff now.
Big stuff is old stuff.
Daddy, Bob didn't mean to upset you. He just wants
It's like it's honestly shocking how like how functional everybody in this family is, except for Bick, but like all of them are like amazingly functional for an incredibly wealthy family that has had like access and privilege for its entire life. All of them are so crystal clear about their feelings and wants and desires, and all have like really small desires. I think like maybe they just like had a really, really great mother.
Don't tell me, I know. You're Jett Rink.
You're Judy.
No, I'm Luz.
Oh man. Oh, I just suddenly realized. Oh, that's very Twilighty. Oh. They're gonna hook up.
Dad's on over at the bar.
And she has the name of,
Feel free, it's Christmas, everybody gets
you
one.
know, the woman who gave him everything, but the woman that he like had like a more like maternal relationship with.
Sit down.
Bye, Mr. Rink.
Everybody calls me Jett, honey.
Yeah, they're gonna do it. Oh my god, the tension is electrifying. Do it, Dennis Hopper. Make your claim. This is the first time in the movie in my entire life that I've seen with Dennis Hopper in it that I was 100% on his side. Hugger, you know you want to. Oh my god. Leslie's utopian goals. Just a vision for what this society should be. Just a generous, kind, decent woman raising decent children. Crazy old person makeup, but other than that, amazing. Oh, he's not gonna be able to stand it. Oh, all the way up. Going up on the... Oh my god.
I want you all to meet my wife. This is Mrs. Jordan.
Did they all just totally accept that? Without blinking an eye? Oh my god, he didn't come home. Oh no. Salmoneo does not get lucky in these roles. And it's just completely silent in this movie that is overwhelming, overrun with the sound. A completely silent scene. And nobody is the star in this scene. No close-ups, no reaction shots. Look at that sky. Genuinely, this movie is too short at 3.5 hours. There's so much happening in this movie. Just a camera pointed directly at Hispanic faces and just like unflinching. This is just an amazing American film. Showing such plurality of American experience, I would have never expected to see.
I'm proud to present to you the flag of our nation, which your son defended so gallantly.
A movie made in the 50s by like a white director for a Hollywood studio, displaying this degree of sensitivity and specificity at at a minority life and the lives in a minority community. I like regret the years of my life that I spent having not seen this movie.
What I think I'll do? I'm gonna keep just like this.
He's gone from Ryan Gosling to Joaquin Phoenix. Disgusting transformation. James Dean could do it all.
You could be the head lady of this part of the whole country. If you wanted to. If you married right. If you married the right man.
It's making a very Mephistophelian kind of
Why don't I just announce it tonight? All them thousands of people out there just sitting listening.
flirtation.
Say, I think you're a wonderful girl. And I do think you're beautiful. You know, I've always been looking for a girl like you.
A girl that's an amalgam of both Elizabeth Taylor, that's both Leslie and Luz. Just a very, very tall pour.
Sure would blow the roof off, wouldn't it?
It's just really cool how dark some of these scenes are. But just like don't give an F. It's so atmospheric. Nobody, no Hollywood star in the world would ever hide their face in the way that James Dean does. Oh. Oh.
Can't you talk United States? Hey, Mr. Benedict, I was just following orders.
Anybody here?
Please don't let something bad happen to the wife.
We're all booked up.
I just called. I'm Mrs. Benedict.
I'm sorry, but we're busy.
I wait a little.
Just cool down and go on with your shaving and finish dressing. I'll go downstairs with you. Otherwise, you can go alone.
You know, honey.
The demon barber of Fleet Street. They're gonna fuck again. Yeah.
Hello, honey.
Well, where you been?
Well, we got tied up in traffic right here in town.
Where's Juana?
She's in the beauty parlor for a quick Duco job.
Hope I'm not too late. Not too. Come right in.
Assholes. Just complete assholes. God, Rock Hudson is so tall. Look at him towering over Dennis Hopper.
Well, you stay right there, honey. I'm coming right down.
It's everybody's orders. Same all over town. The young lady should have gone to Sanchi's, place where they do her people.
Somehow Dennis Hopper manages to take any scenario and turn it into seemingly an assassination attempt.
Aren't you the one married a squaw?
Cheap shotting 2 generations of Benedicts.
You want it now, in front of everybody? Or you want to come outside?
So long as I get one punch that stuck-up face of yours.
You know, you can't take him. James. He's like 5 feet taller than you. Yo, these two just want to bag so hard.
You had this coming to you for a long time.
2 old drugs. This isn't funny. Alcoholism is a problem. I wasn't expecting that.
Just want to count the blessings that this great domain has bestowed upon her humble son. Kiss the maid.
Maybe, perhaps, money doesn't do great things for a man. Yeah, I gotta say, the movie's not entirely too fond of your good old-fashioned oil tycoon.
Pretty Leslie, wonderful, beautiful girl bride.
It's not a good look when you find out the guy that you've been talking sweet with has really held a flame for your mom this entire time.
Lovely. The woman a man wants. A woman a man's gotta have too.
Is this really the ending we wanted? This seems like a misplacement of priorities. She's just like, my daughter's an idiot. I just kind of have to accept that. Folks, your daughter is an idiot. The humor in this, utilizing the music, is reminiscent of Mad Men to me.
Give the little feller some ice cream.
Ice cream? I thought that kid had won a tamale.
Just don't say anything. Just, you know, not everything's about a confrontation.
You're in the wrong place, amigo. Come on, let's get out of here. Vamos, andale. You too.
Hold on a minute.
Yes?
I like the standoff.
Now look here, Sarge.
Under, like, completely different circumstances than you'd expect from a, you have an expectation of, like, a standoff in, like, Western movies. And this is, like, a standoff under, like, completely, like, revised circumstances.
All right, come on, let's go. Come on, you two. Soon.
I mean, I guess Rock has still got it. I don't really know what to say about this ending. It's very, very strange. Don't really know what to make of it. I mean, I guess the message of that is that racism is bad. One should hope.
I suppose I wouldn't mind it too much if you wanted to pack up and go back home for a spell.
No, this is my home.
Where do you think I've been this last breathless quarter of the century?
You really want to know?
And 50 years has passed.
My own
It's kind of cute.
grandson don't even look like one of us, honey. So help me, he looks like a little wet pan. Little muchacho fires up, don't he? Well, I'm sorry, Jordan Benedict IV. I'm a failure. Nothing's turned out like I planned.
That's a good thing.
Do you want to know something, Jordan? I think you're great. That glamour stuff you did to dazzle me. Oh, it was impressive. But none of it ever made you quite as
Compared to the
as you were on the floor of Sarge's hamburger joint. When you tumbled rearward and landed crashing into that pile of
They're gonna
dirty
fuck
dishes.
again. This movie's gonna end with them fucking.
Oh, what a fight. It was glorious. Before we went into that place,
Oh,
I was
Jesus.
feeling like you are now. I was thinking to myself, well,
This is how the battle against racism is won. Just one heart at a time, apparently.
If I live to be 90, I'm never going to be able to figure you out.
I don't know why they're playing the theme of Jett, but we'll let it pass. Would you find it annoying if I said that I liked that more than Fanny and Alexander? That was great. That was amazing. I think the ending was probably a little bit heavy-handed and probably tipped to the morals and values and explained them a bit too much. But I don't know. So maybe these are ideas that you have to kind of explain to a 1950s audience, like taking it apart from separating it from like my modern sensibilities and tastes and whatever. It's like a really progressive and radical message, I think, to present to an American audience in the 50s from the mouths of Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson, to be perfectly frank. And just like the warmth and humanism that's depicted in this movie. Just honestly, I'm tearing up again thinking about the funeral scene for Angel. Like that is displaying a degree of sensitivity and acknowledgement of like a minority experience, person of color's experience in America that you just honestly don't see it film. Yeah, I'm blown away. I'm floored by this movie. Just like a depiction of a utopian society, the vision of what America could be, conjured up by a Jewish female writer in the 50s, and conceptualized into a movie starring Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson. I understand that there are facets that of what may be like Edna Ferber's ideas on policy or race relations that may seem antiquated or out of date, but on the whole, the message is startling and brilliant, and what I think of when I think of what this country could be. So yeah, you should see Giant. That was Giant. Please watch it. It's just an amazing testament, and so much more than I really expected it would be when I was going in. I was just completely surprised by this movie, shocked and heartened, desperately heartened, and yeah, definitely give it a watch. And in the meantime, keep watching good movies. I'll see you on the next one.